Big poppin', money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me big poppin'. Money in the bank coming, dropping a deposit. Having it my way, so I got these bitches watching. Steady getting to it, couldn't fit it in my pocket. Flexing everything, baby, tell me what the tap is.
I'm all hyped up talking to y'all and there's no sound. Anyway, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the bar. It's your favorite guys and Dr. That girl Henny, and today I'm pouring up on a hot Henny that a lot of people have been searching for. Now, can y'all hear me loud and clear? Because I meant to go into Henny Studios to do this video because I just felt like we needed sound effects and all of that, but I said, y'all waited long enough because I announced that I had some hot Henny last night on Instagram and I left y'all hanging. I made y'all go to bed, go to sleep, wake up this morning with something to look forward to. I told y'all that it was going to be hot Henny, and it is because, child, let me tell you, first of all, if you didn't lean on that like button, make sure you did so. And if you're on a mobile device, be sure that you hype the video, okay? I'm still muted. Am I still muted? Okay. All right. She said loud and clear. Y'all can hear me loud and clear. All right. Cool. Child, let me tell y'all what Henny Legal has dug up for y'all today. Baby, when I tell y'all, first of all, I announced on my Instagram that Blueface's royalties are in jeopardy, but I never came and did the actual video to break down the court paperwork. Child, they are coming to take Blueface's royalties just like old girl did to the game. This is coming from Soulja Boy's baby mama. Now, if you don't remember Soulja Boy's baby mama, Jacqueline, Blueface and Soulja, they was going back and forth with each other, right? And so Blueface was saying that there was a possibility that Soulja Boy's son with Jacqueline is his son. Dun, dun, dun. Cause he was saying that he was all skeeting all up in that and whatever. Well, Jackie said, I'm not going to sit back and let you talk about me or my kid like that. And she took Blueface to court. Now, remember I was saying we rounded up, but it's like $17 million. It's probably at 18 for sure now. But it was about $18 million in debt that he's coming home to, which, by the way, he'll be home probably the first week of November, okay? She said, she was part of, well, let me back up. She was part of that 18 million, okay? Now, she said, this ninja's coming home. Let me make sure that I get my coins from him. An old girl filed to go after his royalties, just like old girl did to the game. Bam, bam, bam. I know, right? This sounds so familiar, okay? Now, on top of that, speaking of Soulja Boy, Jacqueline said, I'm going after this ninja for defaming me. I'm going after this ninja for some child support. And baby, she filed a child support order against Soulja Boy. But there's a whole other woman that is filing for child support against Soulja Boy too. See, we all was under the impression that Soulja Boy only had one child. It turns out the ninja got two, and that baby has been kept a secret. And now that mama is going to court, and Soulja Boy is being ordered to pay her. He's got to pay up, and I ain't go. Finally, The final coup de grace, the cherry on top. Everybody has been looking for the court documents for Wack 100 and Kimberly Jones because we've known all this time that R&B was a mistress. Even though he was out here talking about, this is my wife, da 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 da. I was telling you, along with other people, there was no way in hell that they were married, and that's not his wife. That was a mistress because he was still married to Kim. And he kept trying to say that that was not true, and he kept coming for everybody. Well, baby, I got the work. Kimberly Ross, because she no longer wants to be known as Jones, has officially filed for divorce from Cash McElroy Jones. Did I know? Didn't I come back? I came back with a boom. Y'all got to give it to me. Y'all got to give it to me. I came back booming in this motherfucker. Okay, kicking the door, waving the fofo. All you heard was, Henny, don't pull them no more. Whew. Now, first and foremost, let's get into let's build the stories the way that we build the stories over here. First of all, I ain't got my glasses, but I can still see. So wait, Soulja told Blue to claim his son, which he should, but he wasn't claiming his either. Well, this child is an infant child. It's an infant child. And I really don't want to put the picture up because that's a little too messy, but it's a baby. He looks about to be about one, maybe under one. He looks to be about under one. Now, let's start here. Let's start with his baby mama. Okay, let's start with the baby mama that we know. Where is it? Is this it? That ain't it. Mother. Okay, my mom is trying to rent some ish right now while I'm on live, and she's like asking me questions, and I'm just like, I can't answer them. I can't. Where is it? This has got to be it. Petition. Well, let's just say it's that, and let's see if it's that. That is it. All right, let me get this. You said be messy, Henny. I'm being messy. We finna be all the way. We finna get messy all the way. All right, so boom. Hold on. I need my watermark. Cause yeah. Hold on. Do I have my watermark? I do. It's an old watermark, but it's still a watermark nonetheless. It'll work. Okay. That will work. So this is Soulja Boy's first baby mama, Jackie. Okay. And as you can see, she filed this court paperwork, and we need to keep up on this year. She filed this on October 15th of 2025. Okay. So we're going to highlight that right there because we're going to have to come back to this date. All right. And, she says the party to this proceeding to determine custody of a child. That's what she clicked. So she's trying to determine custody. So I take that back. She is filing for custody of their child. Okay. Do you have information about, or have you participated as a party or a witness to any other capacity of the courts? She says no. But she filed this. She's going for custody of her child. Okay. And remember this name, Jacqueline Martinez, because she is coming up a lot today. All right. But that's not the part that got me to going and made me say, So she says, in this paperwork document right here, is saying that, she gave birth to the child. She lives in the state. They had sexual intercourse. Okay. The child lives in the county, and the respondent is the parent of the other child. All right. She is going for legal custody of the child, physical custody of the child, and she wants to give him visitation rights, but she's not playing. She wants full custody, and she wants him to pay her attorney fees, and expert fees, guardian, aid, and all of that. She wants him to pay all of her court fees for this as well. Now, what is going on? I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that something is happening for her to want full custody. But let me just tell everybody this in case you didn't know. Until you go to court and file for custody of your child, nobody has custody of your child. Your child still belongs to the state. Well, the government. because nobody has custody. So it looks like Mr. Cortez is going to be heading to court to fight for custody of his son that he has with baby mama Jackie. Now, child, we gonna come on over here to this one, because look at the date on this one. This is October 17th. And I'm feeling like, did the baby mamas plot this? Because first Jackie filed to get custody of her son, and now this baby mama is filing, okay? Child, let's get into it, okay? Now, the date of birth, this is a child, and his date of birth, okay, so he's not even 1. He's under 1. The date of birth is June 27th, 2025, but that baby looks bigger than that. But that's the child's date of birth. She wants to establish paternity and support. And the support is to begin. This is the beginning date on November 1st. So I guess that's when they're going to court. Now, listen, Linda, listen. This is a fresh out the pot, hot, brand new baby. Brand new, spanking new baby. And it says, all right, so the court determined that the person listed in item 2, the persons listed in item 2 are the parents of the child listed in item 1, whom the established parentage box has been checked. Based on, okay, so wait, whoa, they've already established paternity. All right. So based on California support guidelines, the court order the obligator to pay $1,262 per month. Current monthly child support based on the obligator's known income. Now, Soulja Boy is reportedly only making $181,609 on the books. So she's going for $12,000 a month. I mean, $1,200 a month. I read that wrong. My bad. $12,062. I told y'all I don't have my glasses on. That says $12,062. Let me zoom in so y'all can see it, because I said it wrong, but I need y'all to see it right. Boom. Soulja Boy is being ordered to pay $12,062 a month for his baby. $12,000 in child support is crazy work. I'm just going to say it. It's crazy work. All right. Now, it goes on to say that the court orders orders Soulja Boy to provide insurance for each child named in item 1 if available. So now he's got to also have some health insurance for this baby. He's got to have some health insurance for this baby. But you got a whole child out here? You got a whole baby out here? I know babies are expensive, but $12,000 a month? $12,000. That is a whole lot of Enfamil and Pampers going on. What? He just got this. Yeah, he did. He got robbed for insurance. I can't repeat all of that out loud. So, I want to know why he hasn't announced to the world that there is a child out there that he is going to court for. Now, listen, I posted this over on Instagram. Okay. So y'all can go and sound off and all of that and let it be known. But it looks like Soulja Boy is not having a pretty good year, because y'all remember that he was. I didn't even put the right paperwork up for y'all. Y'all didn't see this? OMG. Did y'all see this document? I could have swore I showed y'all the document. I showed y'all the document, right? Yeah, I was looking at this document right here. Yeah, because I zoomed in to show y'all the $12,662 a month. Okay, I just got to make sure that I had showed y'all the document. No, I don't know who the mammy is. Okay, the mother is her name is Zaire. So I have no idea who she is. All right. I think she's just like a regular girl. Let's see. Now, I don't know if this, yeah, this is her right here. Hold on, I got you. This is her. Her name is Soulja Girl Ree, because this is the same name on the documents. This is her. Don't know who she is. Okay. Cute girl. I don't see any pictures of the boobala baby. I don't see any pictures of the baby up there. But she looks like a regular, degular, schmegular girl. But the crazy thing is, 13 weeks ago, she made this post that said, "Secrets, keep it on the low." Now, this is an awful coincidence. This is a huge coincidence if this is not her. But on June 8th, now I don't know if this is her, but it could be. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all think this is her? There goes He's So Sexy, y'all. That was 21 weeks ago. Now, I'm not putting the baby out there. Some mind my business on that. But, I mean, this is the young lady. It's a lot of coincidences for it to not be her. But I think she's just a regular girl. She's not, that's it. That's all that's on her page. Now, I will say this. Yesterday, her page did kind of disappear for a minute, and then it came back. Wait, is that the one who was his assistant? I don't know. I just wanted to come and give y'all the hot Henny. I haven't put her, under investigation, and I kind of had to keep this close to the chest right now. Mm-hmm. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Now let's get back into what we was talking about. I had to answer her because she's not gonna stop if I don't. I love you, Mom, but you're not gonna stop. All right, now, I closed out the wrong document. Hold on one second. All right, so now from Soulja Boy's baby mamas, let's go over here to Blueface's dramas. Okay, so if y'all remember, his baby mama that we do know about, Jacqueline, she took Blueface to court, right? And I'm gonna read the document for y'all because the document is going to explain to y'all oh my goodness. Stop. All right. So it says, please take notice that on 12/9/2025 at 9:30 a.m., okay, in the Los Angeles Superior Court, plaintiff and judgment creditor Jacqueline Martinez will move this court for an order instructing the judgment debtor, Jonathan Jamal Porter, to assist as judgment debtor his interest in all rights to royalties collected by ASCAP and BMI, revered by payments resulting from sales of songs, records, and the like, for which ASCAP and BMI collect on his benefit, to the judgment creditor to the extent necessary to pay the judgment creditor's judgment in full, including accrued interest through the date of final payment. So basically what she's saying is she wants the courts to go through ASCAP and BMI and Yaga Blueface's royalties for all his music. Dun, dun, dun. What the puck? Okay, the judgment creditor will also move the court for an order restraining the judgment debtor and any servant, agent, employee, or attorney for the judgment debtor and any person in active concert and participating with the judgment debtor from encumbering, assigning, disposing, or spending the judgment debtor's commission and all rights to payment thereunder. So what did she just say? She is asking the court to put a restraining order or on any servants, agents, employees, or attorneys working for Blueface from trying to dispose of, from trying to assign the royalties elsewhere. In other words, Jacqueline has been paying attention to that game lawsuit, because if you remember when, oh my goodness, why did her name just go out of my mind like that? If you remember in the games, Priscilla Rainey, in the games lawsuit, Wack and the game played this game of hide the royalties from her and was moving it around through shell companies and all of that. And her lawyer had to take take the game and Wack to court to break down how they were moving this money through shell companies. And the court had to force them to reverse everything. Well, Jacqueline must have been paying attention because she's asking the courts to stop it before it could even get started. Okay. This motion is made on the grounds that the judgment creditor, Blueface, has a judgment against him. The judgment debtors said judgment been entered on April 16, 2025, with all credits to payment, including the remaining balance due, which including interest accrued at the legal rate of $123,243.10 plus interest at the legal rate. So she wants the whole thing paid for. She don't want a piece of it. She don't want a bit of it, Jesus. She wants the whole damn thing, okay? She said, I want what's owed to me, plus I want the interest from the date the judgment was made, okay? She goes on to say that no part of the judgment has been satisfied, that Porter is a singer and performer under the name of Blueface. As a result, the plaintiff is informed and believes that ASCAP and BMI collect royalties on his behalf, as it is one of, if not the most common method of distribution of royalties earnings for members of the entertainment industry. Okay. And Jacqueline is seeking an order assigning those royalties. She wants them directed to her. This is out of control. This is not even, for me, this is not even a laughing matter, because I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Blueface is getting ready to come home from jail. Okay. From prison, not even jail, from prison. All right. This man is in more debt than when he went in. And you can't blame Krishan for this debt that he's in, because he got all this debt all his own. Okay. That whole nightclub, well, I can say it now. That whole nightclub shooting out there in Vegas at the Shake joint, he did that all his own. Krishan wasn't even there. They were filming Crazy in Love season 1 when that happened. And Krishan was in one place and Blueface was in another. And him and his boys, his entourage, were out there at the strip club, and he pulled out and pow, pow, pow. That whole incident that landed him in Click Click City Krishan wasn't there. I mean, Jada was there, but him and his entourage, they out there and they whoop that trick. Get them, whoop that trick. They out there doing it. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. I got a video coming for y'all. I'm about to give y'all a video, really good video. But anyway, that Las Vegas incident resulted in him getting that big lien for about $14-15 million against his home because the nightclub sued him and won. And you can't say that he didn't know that these things were happening because he was locked up, because they were serving him at the prison. Remember, I showed y'all the address. They were sending it to him in prison. So he was getting notification of these things. And my question is, what is your manager doing? You don't have a financial advisor. Your manager ain't doing what he's supposed to do. You ain't got no lawyer on deck to handle none of these court cases. We saw that the lawyer withdrew. Like, the lawyer didn't get paid. The lawyer left. So it's like, why are we still dealing with Wack? And yes, Blueface is responsible for the things that he does, but he's been in Click City. And as a manager, you've been so worried about where Krishan is going and where her punana is at. Like, you're worrying about everything that's going on between Krishan's legs and in her pocket, that you're not paying attention to your client. I mean, Henny Glass is in the chat if I'm telling the truth. If I'm lying, put a 2 in the chat. But I'm just saying, at some point, doesn't he hold some type of obligation to his client to make sure that this type of stuff doesn't happen? Look at what happened with the game. Speaking of, when we switch over to Twitter, I got some updates on the game for y'all as well. And I also have an update on some other stuff for y'all. So Jacqueline is definitely going after all of this stuff, and she's asking that they stop anybody from being able to interfere. So now this is where she says the right to payment may be assigned up to the full amount due on the judgment. Okay, so as shown in the accompanying declaration, the current balance due on the judgment of October 8th, as of October 8th, 2025, is $129,148.85, including interest. Okay, so this is with the interest. The balance, of course, accrues interest at the rate of 10% per annum. So she's included the 10% onto it for the time that he has not paid. Okay. Since the judgment was entered and since no order exists staying enforcement of the judgment, this court is authorized to issue an assignment order for the judgment creditor. So the courts are saying, listen, we can do this. Now, the court can restrain the judgment debtor. So it says, underneath Code of Civil Procedure, it authorizes the court to restrain the judgment debtor, Blueface, from assigning or otherwise disposing of the rights to payment sought to be assigned upon the showing of need. Such a showing of need is set forth in the declaration that accompanies this memorandum. Consequently, the debtor must be restrained so that the rights to payment sought to be assigned will be available to be applied. So, in other words, they're going to put the restraining order in. Now, in conclusion, it says, based on the foregoing, it is clear the judgment debtor is entitled to an assignment order, which is Jackie. So basically, Jackie is entitled to an assignment order instructing the judge, debtor, and ASCAP and BMI to pay Jackie the commission due of the judgment debtor. So she has people who are willing to come forward for her, which is her attorney. Now, if you look here, it tells you that on 2/9, the judgment was awarded. It says 2018. I think they have the wrong date there because this case didn't happen in 2018. Okay. But this was the original amount, which was $1,000. 123,000. I don't know why I can't say that right today. 243 and 10 cents. That's what the original amount was. But with the interest that's due at 10%, it equals out to $5,909.75. That's where they're getting this total of $129,148.85 from. So Jackie is coming for her. This is showing the order. This is showing proof of service. Right here, I am an employee of the County of Los Angeles, State, California. I am over the age of 18. Okay, so this is being served, and it was served by mail. And these are the addresses that everything was served to when she first started this case. She served it everywhere. Okay. And this is where it's showing that she has not received not one thin dime on this lawsuit. Now, I don't know if Wack is trying to play these games that he played with the game with Blue, but I'm really hoping that Blue does not fall for any of the games that Wack is trying to play and get himself jammed up and find himself caught up just like the game. Because remember, he lost that Calabasas home. But remember, that was also not the game's only residence either. So, but he lost that Calabasas home, honey. Anyway, now let's keep it moving, shall we? Because this next part, this is what we've been waiting for, honey. This is what we have been waiting for right here. Do you hear me? Let me close out some of these windows because I don't want no issues. All right, we're leaving those sites and we only have this open. Now, after all this time, after months and months and months of pulling and searching and digging and hunting, we finally have divorce filings from Kimberly L. Jones against Cash McElroy Jones. Dun, dun, dun. And this filing was made on September 12th of 2025 in the Superior Court for the state of California in the county of Los Angeles, okay? And it says, please take notice. All right, they didn't fill all of that out. But this motion is made on the grounds that material circumstances have changed since the case was suspended in 2016. Now, remember, they had divorce papers back in 2016. And in those court documents, let me go pull them up for you. In those court documents, yeah. Sorry, because I had to pull these up and I just wanted to make sure that this was the right file, and it is. And I love it when a plan comes together. All right. So if y'all remember, back in those filings, Kim had restraining orders against Wack. Restraining orders for what? Restraining orders for domestic violence. And they were already supposed to be filing for a divorce, but something happened and Kim pulled out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me share it with y'all. Here we go. All right, so this is where we at right now. All right, so these are the original filings, okay? And this says right here in clear as day, plain English, restraining order, domestic violence. Dun, dun, dun. The matter was called for a hearing, but if you remember, it concluded because neither party showed up. So now let's go to this document, all right? The matter was called for an appearance. Neither one of them was showing up to court. And this was back in 2016. So Kim is bringing all of this back up into play, right? All right. So it says the matter is called for hearing. Respondent failed to appear for mediation. Based on information provided to the court, a settlement was already put into order. Okay. The court orders as follows: temporary, without prejudice. Petitioner granted sole legal and sole physical custody of children Cash Jones, whose date of birth was in 1994, Devin Jones, whose date of birth was 2004. Responded to have the right of reasonable visitation second and fourth weekends from Friday 5 p.m. to Sunday 6 p.m. As to child support and spousal support, the court orders guideline support based on visitation time listed and income noted as petitioner's gross income of $4,800 and the respondent's gross income, which is Wack's income, of $11,560. The petitioner referred to the court's facilitator to run Disomaster, okay? Child support and spousal support to be paid on the 1st and the 15th. So back in 2016, there was an order that was put into place for child support and for spousal support, right? Spousal support. But then things started happening where Kim and Wack both did not show up for court. And so this matter was left twisted and dangling in the wind. Well, it is no longer twisted and dangling in the wind because, as you can see, we are reading it right now. So back to what we were saying here, as she said, circumstances have changed since the case was suspended in 2016, requiring active court supervision. All right. The original petition filed in 2012 is now 13 years old and no longer accurately reflects the parties' circumstances. All minor children have reached majority, eliminating child custody and support issues. Substantial community property requires proper adjudication and management, meaning that substantial community property requires to be properly divided. Dun, dun, dun. The interest of justice requires restoration of the case to active status for proper resolution of community properties, which means that they still hold properties together. Now, that means that all this time he been out here, R&B, that's my wife, that's the queen, that's my wife, that's the queen. She ain't the wife. She could be his queen, but she is the mistress and has been all this time. Now it is on paper. There is paperwork to back up these statements that we've been saying. Now let's get into the procedural background. The original filing, this dissolution proceeding, was filed on June 8th of 2012. 2012. The case was suspended on January 5th of 2016 and remains in suspended status. On June 11th, 2025, petitioner attempted to dismiss the petition with exception to refile. On July 15th of 2025, the request for dismissal was denied. Court order case to remain in suspension, special status, with existing orders in place. So she tried to get the petition dismissed, but the courts denied it and left everything as it is, meaning they're still married. She's still getting spousal support. And I guess there was still child support that was going on because all of those motions are still active. Changed circumstances now require restoration to active status for proper case resolution. Okay. And then it gets into the authorities to set aside. All right. In a proceeding, she's going underneath continuing jurisdiction over community properties. So it says in a proceeding for dissolution of marriage, for nullity of marriage, or for legal separation of the parties, the court has continued jurisdiction to award community estate assets or community estate liabilities to the parties that have not been previously adjudicated by a judge in the proceeding. Okay, court has jurisdiction to inquire into and make order concerning the settlement of the property rights of the parties. They still have community property together to this day. See, this is what being the wife entails. It means that you are entitled to division of properties. You are entitled to benefits. You are entitled to all types of stuff that I'm just saying you can't get when you can't get none of this. Okay. And if the rumors be true that there is an order for repossession on body parts that Wack paid for, which to me is super petty. But if this be true that there is an order for repossession of said body parts, girl, run. That's all I got to say. Run. Because ain't no way. It ain't no way. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm trying to check something real quick. Hold on. Okay. All right. So now she's also saying that, the children, they're now of age, so they no longer basically need any of the visitation orders. So she's saying all minor children referenced in the original petition have now reached the age of majority. So they're no longer minors, okay? Child custody, visitation, and support provisions are no longer applicable. It eliminates sufficient complexity and focuses case on property division. So now there's no longer any need for those child support. There's no longer any need for visitations, and she just wants to focus on division of the properties. But do you know what this all means? This means that all this time, from the time that the order was in place, from 2016, Kimberly has been receiving spousal support and child support from Cash McElroy Jones. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Substantial community property assets identified requiring court supervision. This is what they have. They have substantial community properties. Vintage automobile collection with significant value needs proper valuation and management. Real estate property interests require updated legal description and current valuations. Financial circumstances have materially changed over years of suspension. Okay. Original petition filed over 13 years ago no longer reflects current circumstances. Updated financial disclosures and property schedules are required. Proper adjudication cannot occur while the case remains suspended. Okay, then she goes into having a due process. The Fourth Amendment guarantees that no person shall be deprived property without due process of law. Petitioner has vested community property interests that cannot be extinguished without proper judicial proceedings. While the case remains suspended, petitioner cannot obtain court orders necessary to protect, preserve, and adjudicate her community interests. Is Wack living in one of those homes? Or is he trying to be spiteful and take one of them homes from her? Okay. This case has a 13-year procedural history. 13-year procedural history. Okay. Established case number and existing order that provides foundation for efficient resolution. New filing would require new filing fees, service costs, and restart of all procedural deadlines. Further, current case file contains valuable procedural history and prior orders that would be lost in dismissal. So, she's saying, look, just reopen this case. Let's get it going. All right. Community property, particularly vintage automobiles, may require ongoing maintenance, insurance, and protection that need court supervision. Active case status may be necessary to deal with creditors, insurance companies, and other third parties affecting community property. Property values change over time. Active case allows for updated valuations and proper accounting. Finally, active case status enables formal discovery procedures to identify and value all community properties. So she's like, listen, these classic cars that we have, Yeah, they need to be reevaluated. All right. Um all right. Community properties, Dr. Kettle, we talked about that. All right. The court may, in furtherance of justice and on any terms as be proper, allow a party to amend any pleading. The court has discretion to allow amendment at any stage of the proceeding. Policy strong favors amendment. California courts liberally grant leave to amend when justice requires. Okay, preference to decision on merits. The court prefers to decide cases on substantive merits rather than procedural technicalities. Now, when it gets down to the children, all minor children referred to in the original petition have reached age of majority. I think we read this already. And that support is no longer required. Family dynamics and household composition materially changed. Elimination of child-related issues simplifies the case to focus on property division. Okay, and that's what she's looking for. Okay, real estate and personal property values have changed significantly over the past 13 plus years. Complete community property schedules requires updating with information. Financial obligations and community debts have materially changed since 2012. Income changes. Both parties' financial circumstances evolved over 13 plus years. Assets, appreciation and depreciation. Significant changes in asset values require updates. Financial responsibilities and debts incurred since the original filing. Financial circumstances require complete and updating for proper adjudication. She wants them to go and basically I don't even know why my mic muted. What the hell? Why is my mic not registering? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay. I think I'm back. All right. So basically, she wants the courts to set aside the suspension that was entered on January 5th of 2016, right? And she wants them to restore the matter to active calendar status to receive permission to file a First Amendment petition for dissolution of the marriage. She wants it done. She wants it dissolved. All right. Now, from what we've read, the case began on June 18th of 2012. It was suspended in 2016, which we have the paperwork for that. And Kim tried to dismiss and refile in June of this year, but the court denied that. And on July 15th, she was they were ordering it to stay suspended with the existing orders in place, and she's fighting against that. Basically, she's saying that the circumstances have changed because the children are now grown and that there's significant community property assets that include real estate, right? And we hear about vintage automobiles, and financial circumstances of her and Wack have changed, which I would hope that they would change from 2012 to now. She also went on to basically say that because the original petition is over 13 years old, she's seeking it to be updated because she wants property schedules and valuations put into place of what everything is in this current state. She wants the income and the debts disclosed for both parties. She wants to eliminate all of the outdated child stuff so that they could just focus on separating the property and just make this simple. Okay. They were married. So for those of y'all who do not know, Kim and Wack were married on June 30th of 2000, and they separated on May 30th of 2012. Okay. How do you know that, Henny? Because it's in the paperwork. It's in the paperwork. And I'm going to read this to y'all. All right. Kimberly L. Jones declares, I am familiar with the fact of this case, and if called as a witness, I could and would testify completely thereto. I was married to respondent on June 30th of 2000. We separated on May 30th of 2012, and this dissolution proceeding was filed on June 18th of 2012. The case was suspended on January 5th of 2016. On June 11th of 2025, I attempted to dismiss the case with the exception of refiling for dissolution. On July 15, 2025, the court denied my request for dismissal, and the court ordered that the case was to remain in suspended status while existing orders remain in place. Therefore, in order to proceed with the divorce, I am asking the courts to restore this case to active status rather than seeking dismissal. I am also asking the courts for leave to amend the petition, as there has been numerous changes since the filing of the initial petition. Both of the children referenced in the original petition have now reached the age of maturity. Therefore, no longer any issues regarding child custody, visitation, or support. During our marriage, we acquired substantial community property, including real estate and valuable personal property. We own a family townhome at where I currently reside. We also own real property at a Quartz Hill Quartz Hill, California, where respondent resides, and we own property in New Jersey that is currently in escrow, and the funds anticipated to be received from the sale are community property funds. We acquired a valuable collection of vintage automobiles during the marriage, including vehicles with individual values exceeding $100,000. The total value of our community property assets has changed significantly since 2012. Pause. Did you hear what she said? She lives in the townhome, and he lives in Quartz Hills, California, in their home out there. Our community property requires proper valuation and adjudication. We need court supervision to ensure proper management and division of assets. The case cannot be properly resolved while in suspended status. Our case would benefit from active case management to reach final resolution. Both my income and Wack's income and debt obligations have changed materially since the original petition was filed. The value of our real estate and personal property have changed significantly. The original petition was filed over 13 years ago and no longer accurately reflects our current circumstances. The petition requests child support and support orders that are no longer relevant, and the property schedule and financial information is now outdated and incomplete. An amended petition is necessary to provide the court with accurate and current information. I am acting in good faith to restore this case to proper resolution. The requested relief will benefit both parties by allowing final adjudication of our community property rights. I am prepared to proceed with discovery, property valuations, and other necessary steps. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Signed September 11th, 2025, Kimberly L. Jones. Kim said, I had enough of this shit and I want out. Activate this case and give me free. Give me free. She no longer wants to be tied down to Three Finger Dewey Shooter and all his scandals, especially being that I'm hearing that allegedly he was recently caught sending off kitty corn. Don't nobody want nobody dealing in kitty corn. So now we're going to move on to this case right here. This is the paperwork filing. She is requesting a dissolution of the marriage. Okay. She wants it amended. And we've read all of this. Okay. We've read all of this. This is what we was reading in the other paperwork. But when it gets over here, now I want y'all to look at this statistical facts, right? It says on this paper that the date of marriage was June 30th of 2000, right? But it also gives us a separate, when did y'all separate? Because she gave us a whole different separation date, didn't she? In the other filing, because in this one, it says that the separation date was in 2024. All right, okay. Now, spousal or domestic partner support. She's seeking spousal support. She wants spousal support. She wants a complete inventory of the homes and the cars. And what do you think all of that means? Child, that means Kimberly says, I want it all. Okay. Kim said, I want all of it. I want the properties. I want the spousal support. I want the cars. I want. She's coming for the gusto. She's not playing with Wack. And I don't blame her because he's been out here embarrassing the hell out of that girl up here talking about this other woman is his wife. And we know that that's his mistress. So now what did we learn today? We have actually learned that Kim and Wack, they were married in 2000. But in 2012, they separated. But I think their official separation happened in 2024, which is 2 years ago. And if you think about it, that's about accurate because back then, that's when he started popping out with R&B. Am I correct? I could be a little off with the timeline, but she done had enough. She said, look here, I wanted to dismiss the case as long as I could redo the case. The judge said, nah, we're going to keep everything as it is. She said negative. If we're going to keep this case as it is, I want to reactivate it and I need it updated and I want all the property divided and I want out. I want out. But what's crazy to me is all of this time, you've been committing adultery. Let me tell you something. Somebody is married, and I don't care how long they've been separated. They have not been divorced. They are still married. That is adultery. So I guess the next move is on the adulterer. What you gonna do, sir? And you know I'm gonna be all up in it. Yeah, we're finna watch this. But for everybody that has been wondering what has been going on with Kim and Wack, and let me just say this. Wack and Kim were married all of that time. Now, I don't know how this goes with spouses and all of that stuff. But one would think that once they are divorced, all of that not being able to talk shit goes off the table. Mods, drop the link for the Twitch because we about to be up out of here so we could talk. That's going to be your hot henny for this spill, this spiked coffee in the morning. I hope that this was worth the wait because I know all of y'all on there on Instagram was like, Henny, just give us a clue. Henny, just tell us what it is. Henny, just tell us. We got to hear about it. Well, now y'all done heard about it. It's official. Kim is leaving Wack and she's taking whatever the hell she could take. Can we drop the Twitch link, you guys, so that I could get up out of here and head on over there to the Twitcher? Matter of fact, hold on. Let me help y'all out because I'm not pulling no court docs. I think I could. I think I can. I think I have it up. I don't have it up. Do we have the Twitch link? Go. Uniquely. Hold on. Where is my notes? Right there. Okay, you guys. So as you can see, the mods have dropped the Twitch link. We are going to head over to Twitch and we are going to continue the conversation over there. So please, it's already up. It's already running. So you guys just click the link. It'll take you right on over to Twitch and we're going to continue going. But let me go ahead and let me pin it for those of y'all who don't see it. Thank you, Uniquely. I appreciate you. Boom. There is the Twitch link. Y'all come on over to the other side, to the other bar, and let's continue the conversation, you guys, because it's going to get ugly up in here. Now, as for the content creators who have been looking for this information, feel free to use my video. But as always, be sure that you give them the link and shout me out. Send the peoples over here. I'll send the peoples over there. And we love y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for sipping this hot Henny with me. I'll be back, you guys. I have other hot stuff to drop for y'all as well. I apologize for neglecting you guys, but make sure you're also following me on the.pressbox because that's where I talk about Krishan, baddies, and all the other gossipy things on that channel, and that's where I've been. So I've kind of been neglecting y'all. I'm sorry. I'll be back though. But anyway, y'all make sure that y'all vibe high so the bullshit don't stick. And we will definitely see y'all in the next spill, everybody. Peace to YouTube.